Hey guys, it's Julia here, and in this video we're going to be setting up more things on the server. Would you like to explain?
So we're going to be setting up our OUs, which is our organizational units, and we're going to be messing around in group policy.
Yep.
So first thing we need to do is set up our OUs. In the last video, we set up Active Directory and connected a client, but we have yet to set up our users, our organizational units, and anything of real organization type. So if we look into our Active Directory users and computers, we have our domain and we have the literal default setup. So what we want to do is we want to create an OU for our computers. And I think what we'll call, let's see here, we'll make new organizational unit. What do we want to call the computers?
I have no idea. Maybe clients? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking clients. Clients for the computers and then members for users.
Okay.
Or would it be better to swap those around? Members for computers and clients for users.
Whatever you want to do, I'm not even sure.
I think it would work either way. So we just have to remember that clients are our computers.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
So then we need to make So now we need to make another organizational unit. We're going to call this members. This is where our users will be. And also, this will help later in another video that we'll be doing on LAPS, which is Local Administrator Password Solution. We're going to create a groups OU, just so that we can keep all of the groups that we create together. So I guess first thing we'll want to do is move the client that we added into the clients group. So doing that's going to give a message saying that you're moving the computer to a different OU. Group policies that are applied may be different.
Well, they're not. We didn't do that yet.
And that's kind of the point of this video. We're going to set up our OUs and then do group policy. Now we need to create a user. We're going to copy the administrator's default profile with the copy option in the context menu. What should we make? Admin.
Typing admin would be easier than administrator.
Yeah, admin. We'll just call it admin. All right, now we need to set a password. We have yet to disable password complexity, so we need an upper, lower, number, and symbol.
I heard you actually only need 3 of the requirements out of 4, but...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it what's the one that I don't need?
It doesn't matter. You can just do 3 of them and forget about one of them, because,
You can do upper, lower, and number, from what I know.
You don't have to have a symbol necessarily.
So we have our admin user. We're going to throw him into the members group. And it's also going to help to separate admins from standard users.
Oh, definitely.
So we're going to create 2 more organizational units in there. We're going to call admins. And then we're going to make standard users. What do we want to call them? Do we just want to call them standard?
Standard.
So let's move our admin into the admin group from here. Admin, go to admins. Then we have our standard where we'll just right click new and create a user. User.
You spelled that wrong.
What do we want their username to be?
Don't know. What do you want to call them? You want to make a sample name?
Let's call it user 1.
Okay, that's simple enough.
And we don't want them to change their password. Or we're not going to have them change their password on next logon.
I know businesses do that so they can use their own password, but in this video we're not going to do that.
Well, it's more of businesses most likely will have a password policy where it needs to be changed every so many days.
Yeah, because, security reasons and things like that.
So we're gonna create our standard user, and then we're gonna at this point we are now set up. So what we want to do is we're gonna swap over to the new admin user instead of using administrator.
Yep. Why is it like frozen? What in the world?
Sometimes it doesn't show the dots, other times it does.
I guess it's just a glitch.
So as you can see, there's our domain administrator account. So we're going to want to use an other user, admin, type of password.
Obviously, logging onto the YouTube domain.
So it's the admin on that domain, but like the one we made, not the built-in admin.
Yeah, this is the copied account.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the
this
same
is
account technically.
It has all the same permissions, but it's just a different user entirely.
Oh, okay.
So now we have our new user, our new admin user, which is the account that will be used. So now we're ready to start doing stuff in group policies. Now the reason we set up different OUs is because you'll see in a minute, group policy will only show organizational units. It will not show folders, and as far as I'm aware, there's no way to create a folder. So we're going to go ahead and launch group policy management. That should get installed automatically when you install Active Directory domain services. We're just going to expand this a little.
But what ADs are we gonna set? Not ADs, I mean group policies.
I'm thinking, so we have our client computers, we have our users, we have our users here. And I'm thinking what we can do, so it's just a little message. So we have a default domain policy, which has just like a lot of settings and stuff configured. We're not going to mess with that. And instead, we're going to create our own policies. It's best to either create a policy for a specific thing. If you're creating policies for multiple different things, then like have different policies. But if you're going to be messing with a lot of similar settings, you want to have them all in one policy to keep them together. So let's say this is going to be for the computer startup. We're going to say clients. This is how I organize them. I just put the name of the group or the OU it's in. And we'll say startup. So to edit them, you'll right click and click on edit. And here we are in group policy.
Oh boy.
Now, because we're doing computer configurations, we don't even need to worry about user config. You just need to be worrying about the computer config. So for this, probably what we're going to want to do for just some testing policies, in my opinion, is we're going to want to set the systems, the computers, to show highly detailed status messages, like server does, how it says waiting for user logon service and other stuff.
Okay.
It makes it easier to diagnose issues in the future when we're testing stuff. So you can locate that policy by going to computer config, policies, administrative templates, and it's in the system folder. You go down to the bottom and you're looking for the option that says display highly detailed status messages. You enable this, hit OK, and that policy is now enabled. So let's just go through and do a couple more policies that can be useful. So you can look through all the different kinds of options you have. I believe maybe it wasn't in here. It might be a user config. So we can just go through the different options, see what's available.
Man, there's a lot of policies.
Yes, there are. You can set all kinds of different restriction policies, such as...
That's how you restricted my personalization.
Yeah, so let's see, what else do we got? What else could we restrict? Such as...
have no idea what to restrict.
Let's force a specific login background.
Do you have the backgrounds I sent you?
If anything, you can drag them into the VM onto the desktop, and we can set up a shared folder real quick to set that. Or, we could use group policy as well to do that. So let's do that. So go ahead and drag the files onto the VM.
So it'll be paused right here.
So we're going to use group policies to deploy these two so we can set them as certain background. So to send out a folder, what we're going to do is send out a folder. That is under the Preferences folder under Computer Config, Windows, and Folders. So what we're going to do is create a new folder. We're going to type in the path, which will be C:\files, just call it files, and then we'll do that. So next thing we need to do is send out the actual file. Now to do that, we need a network share, and we're just going to set one up real quick. Just throw it in the C drive, and we'll call this one files. So we'll go to the properties of the folder, click on the sharing tab, advanced sharing. We need to share this folder. And I'm thinking, instead of it being public, we'll add the $ to make it hidden, but it's still accessible. We'll leave permissions as default. And now that folder is being shared. So the only thing we need to do now is to take those two images, throw them in there. Now we can deploy the files. So we'll create a new thing. The source files will be server 2019 /files lock.png. Those will go into, oops, how long keyboard? Can't type. Those will go into the folder that's going to be created as the same name. So the only thing we need to do now is create another one for the background. $/bg.p. There we go, those files will now be deployed. So now what we can do is set a policy to force a specific default background for the lock screen and log on screen. Now keep in mind that this will only work on education and enterprise and server editions.
Meaning you can't deploy this to like Pro.
Yeah, I've tried. It literally doesn't do anything. It just sets the default.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll want to prevent changing of that. So now what we can do...
What about the like desktop background?
See, that's where we have to create a new policy for a user.
Oh.
So if we come over to the members and standard OUs, we can create a new policy. We'll call this one, we'll just call it desktop. So anything that's any desktop related group policies will just go with this one.
So it's like a thing that just has group policies in it.
Yes, more or less.
All
So because this is a user config, we'll go to policies under user configuration, administrative templates, desktop, and desktop. Here we'll click on desktop wallpaper, enable it, put in the path, c:/file/bg.png. Make sure it fills the screen. And then we'll want to make it so that you cannot change it.
It was in the same area, I thought.
No, it's actually under Control Panel and Personalization.
Oh.
Prevent changing desktop background. So now what we can do is test that out.
Alright.
If you go Windows 10 VM.
Alright, let me do that.
So we're gonna slide up. We're gonna click on Other User. And this is where we'll put our username and password.
I noticed that it didn't change the lock screen yet.
Well, that's the thing. So actually, what we're gonna want to do is log on as our admin account.
So now we're signing in as the admin, because I don't know what you're going to do now.
This is the admin user that we created.
It may have the new background, maybe.
No, that only applied to standard users.
Oh, not admins.
Yeah, because if you saw, we only put it into the standard user group. So now what we're going to do, now that we're logged on as an administrator, is we need to update our policy. You can do that by going to Command Prompt or PowerShell and typing in gp update/force. This will force a policy update, and it's probably going to ask us to reboot the system.
Didn't know it can do that.
Oh yes, it can.
Completed.
Okay, apparently not. So what we can do now that our policy update's completed successfully is check the C drive to see if those files copy. There's our files folder. There's our 2 pictures.
That's a good sign. Just sign out and we should have a different background.
Yes.
Yup, it's different.
So now if we log on as our standard user,
they're gonna have the other background.
Yes. This is really one of the best ways to deploy a background, whereas if you do it via network share, then if that share is unavailable, you'll get black, whereas this makes sure the background's always available.
Yeah, because I saw at my school. I saw at my school and a computer didn't have internet and someone logged in, the background was black.
Yeah, because it can't access the path of the file. Yep, and there's our background that we set. If they try to change it, they'll receive the nice message of these settings are managed by your organization.
And you won't be able to.
You'll literally not be able to change any setting.
Nope. Although all the other ones still work, that's because we didn't apply policies to those.
We didn't restrict those, yeah.
So basically the fun with group policies, you could choose what you want to restrict.
Yeah, businesses, usually they'll have reasons to restrict stuff. Another thing we can do is if you head back over to the server VM,
I have already.
Okay, so we can set up a policy for all of the users. So we'll do all, and we're gonna make this again desktop. So we're gonna do a policy for desktop settings for all users.
All right.
So one of the things that I like to do is send out an icon to all the desktops or for all users. The way we're going to do that is with under Preferences and Windows Settings and Shortcuts. We're going to create an icon or a shortcut. So I like to, for whatever reason, I just do send out a log off icon. So we're going to tell it to go to the desktop. The command it's going to run, so the target will be c:/Windows 32. And log off.exe logs the current user off. We can even set different icons. So normally whenever I set this, there's this icon that I like to use.
Oh, the XP logo.
Yes.
Yep.
So if we apply that, we can run another group policy update. Actually, I believe there is a command you can do on the server to invoke it, which I believe is invoke-gp update.
I think you spelled it wrong.
Oh, I did spell that wrong.
Oops. And what does that do?
What did we name the Windows 10 system? It was Win
10 something. I think it was Win 10 something. Go check.
So did we even name that? Did we name it? Did we name it or did we just leave it default?
We named it.
Just Win-10. It wasn't dash client, it was dash computer.
Alright.
So I think if we watch the other system, or not.
It's not able to reach it. Why is that?
That's probably because we need to set up some firewall rules to allow it. So for the time being, we'll just run over to the other system and do it manually from command prompt.
Alright.
So I'm just going to run it on the standard user using our admin credentials. Yep, there it is. Just appears right on the desktop.
That's cool.
And it should work as intended.
Yep.
Perfect.
So that's group policy for this video.
Alright, so
there's so many different things you can do with it.
just play
there's a
around
lot
with it.
Yeah. Obviously, don't do it on your personal computer.
Yeah, you don't want to mess it up.
Well, it's more of, there's certain policy that you can apply that will completely lock you out of things. And I'd rather avoid that situation.
So if you guys want to play around with this, I recommend doing it in a virtual machine. If you don't have an Active Directory domain, though, I think you can, if you're on like Windows 10 Pro or higher, it still lets you in group policy.
Yeah, if you go to the run box, it's gpedit.msc. Just be careful of what you do, because you can easily, if you don't know what you're doing, you can either lock yourself out of something, not realize it, and then like not know how to get it back.
So pretty much do this on a VM. And also, if you guys find any cool group policies, you can leave them in the comments. If you decide to play with it, let us know.
Like, one of the things many businesses will do is that they'll prevent standard users from using command prompt and regedit.
Well, that's obvious. However, my school somehow allows it. Well, they allow command prompt, but not admin command prompt. Anyways, I'm gonna stop the video because there's background noise as well. So thanks for watching and say bye.
Bye.
Yeah.